let's talk about the intersection between your job and federal politics. Ellen, you mentioned that when you were reelected in 2016, the election did not go quite the way you expected. How did that change the way you conceived of your job? You've been party to some lawsuits against the Trump administration's policies, but did you see that coming on election night, or did it kind of dawn on you over time that there are things going on in Washington that I'm going to have to punch back against?
It took a short while, but it really hit us on January 27th of 2017. You may recall that date. It's indelibly printed on my brain. That was the date that President Trump issued his first executive order, the travel ban. And I was at a meeting of Democratic AGs, actually in Florida, that particular day. And that was a Friday, I believe, maybe a Thursday. Monday morning, the first lawsuit was filed in federal court in the state of Washington against Donald Trump and that executive order. Pretty much from then on, folks, we've been checking our Twitter feed every morning. We've been checking to see, what's the next thing coming our way. Initially, it felt a lot like sort of that whack-a-mole. We've gotten better organized. I will say that Mark is not a part of the meetings, and that's, again, because of this divide, which is unfortunate, but the reality. Every Tuesday morning, I meet by phone with all of my Democratic colleagues around the country, and we talk about what we need to do to work together to make sure that we are protecting our states, our constituents, and making sure that the harms that are coming to them through these actions coming from Washington, D.C. are properly attacked, quite frankly, by whatever it is we need to do. It may not be a lawsuit. It may be a comment letter to a federal agency. It may be a sign-on letter. It may be just kind of waiting until we see what the next step is going to be. It takes some time. I tell law students that I talk to now, please don't neglect administrative law as a course. It's a very, for those of you who are lawyers in here, it's kind of boring. Administrative law, no more. It's the most important course you can take, that and con law in law school, because just about everything coming out of Washington involves some kind of administrative action. And we need to, what we're trying to prove in these cases is that the action that the federal government is taking is a violation of due process, it's in violation of their congressional authority, it's arbitrary and capricious, and that's where we've been successful. We have been successful in nearly all of the cases that we have brought against the federal administration because we're lawyers and because we are protecting our people based upon the Constitution and based upon essentially the Administrative Procedures Act, which turns out to be a pretty important law.